struggles, heartaches, and troubles. No matter what you are going through, there is still hope for you. There is still hope for you. In sickness, in sorrow, there's hope for tomorrow. God understands and he'll see you through. There is still hope for you. There is still hope for you. In spite of your struggles, heartaches, and troubles. No matter what you are going through, there is still hope for you. There is still hope for you. In seasons of sadness, be strong, it won't last. God understands and he'll see you through.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. Good evening to everyone on YouTube and those that are watching via Facebook Live. Welcome to There Is Still Hope for You. This is the broadcast where we share our stories to encourage, to empower you, to let you know no matter where you are in life, there is hope for you. Many times we feel that we are defined by our past decisions, our experiences, our mistakes. But I am a witness. I am a living testimony that there is hope for you in spite of no matter what you've been through in life. I am your host, Pastor Karen, and this show was birthed out of me giving God a complete yes. I have been in bad relationships, a broken marriage. I was a single mother. It seemed like I just couldn't get things together, and I kept repeating the same cycle. I kept starting things and not completing them, and I low self-esteem. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt unloved. I experienced rejection, and finally, I positioned myself. I got my mind together. I shifted my focus. And I completely surrendered to God and allowed God to heal me internally of all the things I had gone through in my past. And as a result, I promised God that I would be a mouthpiece and I would share my story to help others, to encourage them to know that, hey, it doesn't matter what you've done, where you've been, who you've been connected to, who doesn't like you, who doesn't agree with you. There is hope for you. So tonight I have an amazing guest, and it's Miss Pennsylvania Classic University, Renee Reynolds. When I tell y'all this guest does so much, Miss Renee is just awesome. She's awesome. She's awesome. We're in for a treat. All of my guests I'm grateful for. We all come on. We all have different stories, but we're all transparent. Our desire is to help others. So we share what we've been through because we want to encourage you, to let you know that there is a purpose for your life. We try to encourage you, to help to push you to your destiny. We try to encourage you, to help you to avoid negative circumstances. That's why we're transparent. So I thank you all again for being here. I want to ask everyone if you would share this broadcast. Please send comments. If you have questions or comments, please put them in the chat. But share this broadcast because I always say there's someone on your timeline that can be blessed by what's being said. Many times we assume, nobody on my timeline needs to hear this, or no one's going to be interested. You never know, because a lot of times when we're going through things, we don't share, we hold things in. That's where a lot of the trauma comes from. So that person may be suffering silently. There may be someone suffering silently. So please share, please share, please share. Shout out to everyone who is here with us on this evening. I'm going to get out the way. Normally we're on until 8, but we know Miss Renee has some other commitments. She is involved in so much, and it's not that she doesn't want to be here, but she'll tell you what she has going on. So I want to read a portion of her bio before she comes on, just so you all would know what she does and a little bit about her. Renee Reynolds, Miss Pennsylvania Classic Universe 2021, and her slogan is "Always wear your crown with pride and dignity." She was raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and she's a graduate of Olney High School. Renee went on to attend several business schools and obtain degrees in business administration with a minor in accounting. Furthering her education, Renee obtained a degree as an information technology specialist and will be returning to work on a certificate at Penn State University in leadership development. She continuously moves towards accomplishing her education by taking a course every year. Renee's goal is to increase her knowledge and to be an example to her grandchildren. If I can, they can. I love that, Renee. At the age of 21, Renee returned to high school and graduated. She worked as a gas station attendant to take care of her children and herself while attending business college. After graduating with a degree in business, she continued to work in retail and became a shop steward for Local 1776, that's Retail Clerks Union, where she stayed for 20 years. In the year 2000, Renee made a career change and started her first position as an office manager and executive assistant. She also decided to perform as a vocalist and bander leading of her own group. And y'all, she can sing. I don't know if she can sing tonight, but I'm telling y'all, she can blow. Okay. She also decided to perform as Renee has enjoyed performing for weddings and large venues that hold from 5 to 50,000 guests. Renee has opened for great artists such as the Stylistics, the OJs, Vicky Winans, and Avery Sunshine, just to name a few. Renee was the opening act and band leader for McFadden and Whitehead for 7 years. She hosts her own radio show, Babe Girl Says, is a band leader, actress, model, and works in internal audit as a senior administrative assistant in FMC Corporation. She does a lot in her community. She is a passionate leader and role model. Renee has received several awards for her community services from the state and private sectors. Renee received the Congressional Record Award and the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Keeping the Dream Alive Award. Renee continues to dedicate herself to helping women improve their own self-awareness. She is devoted to sharing her vision that all of us are valuable. Through social media, public speaking events, radio, and interviews, she wants to show women that as she rose from ashes, that it is their destiny to do the same. Renee wants them to understand that domestic violence is not love. Yes. It is not normal or acceptable behavior. Her favorite scripture is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. As a domestic violence survivor for over 40 years, she decided to enter pageants to build her self-esteem and to show other women they can change their destinies. They can accomplish anything that they set their minds to doing. In her spare time, she enjoys photography, motivational speaking, singing, and hosting annual Pink Diamond Ball, along with her remaining sisters, in memory of Teal D. Reynolds and Loretta Sakil. Is that Renee? Did I put?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Renee's a proud mother of three wonderful children and three grandchildren that she loves, that are the loves of her life. Renee still resides in Philadelphia and has the joy of taking care of a rescued German Shepherd Juice. I love it. Miss Superwoman. Renee,
No.
welcome to There Is Still Hope for You. I am honored to have you as my guest, and I am so elated that you have taken time out of your busy schedule. Busy but productive. Sometimes we're busy but we're not productive. But
Yes.
you made a decision to take time away from all you're doing to help the community and to help women and the pageant, to be with myself and my guests on this evening. So without further ado, the platform is in your hands. I want you to just share with us. We shared part in your bio, but tell us where you are. Share with us what's on your heart this evening. Welcome, Mom Renee.
Thank you so much, Mom Karen, for
You're
having me
welcome.
on the show tonight. Yes, there is hope. There is always hope. And you have to believe that in your heart, that whatever the difficult situations you are going through, if you trust and believe in God and have the faith of a mustard seed, all things He can do for you if you just believe. So since since I gave you my bio, I think I gave you that bio about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Some exciting things have happened in my life. I was asked a couple of weeks ago. I was actually nominated for an honorary doctorate in business business administration, ministry, and in music.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So when it came to pass, I was like, a doctorate? Who for who? For me? And you never know. I tell people this all the time. I tell my kids, my grandkids, you never know who is watching what you do.
That's right.
And it was brought to my attention that they have been watching me for the last 3 or 4 years. And watching my accomplishments and seeing how I have been striving to empower not just women, not just children, but people, men as well. And I have gotten emails and text messages from men who have said to me, "You are so inspiring. I turn on your radio show just to hear what you have to say this week because it has influenced my life. It has caused me to look at my situation, either being married or in a relationship, and to value the person that I am with." And for me, to come out of domestic violence some 40 plus years ago, I needed to break a cycle that was going on in my in-law family. So one day, after being beat so bad that nobody could even recognize me, I'm standing in the mirror, and the Lord's voice spoke to me, and He said to me, "Why are you allowing this to continue to happen to you? Your own father did not hit you. So why are you allowing this man, who was my husband, to do these things to you?" And that was an eye-opening moment because, I'm fully believing that God comes to you when the time is right.
Right.
And I fully believe that God was tired of His beautiful child being abused, beaten, and deformed, fit my face. And I had to think about it, and I said, you know what? I have got to make a change because if I don't make a change, my kids are going to think that this is normal and that this is okay.
Yeah.
So I called my grandfather on the phone, and I told my grandfather, I said, "Come and get me and the kids." And at that time, I said, "Because I'm going to jail today." And
you were fed up.
He was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" I said, "Just come and get the kids. You and my mom have some money set aside to get me out," because the rage that came out of the 5 years of abuse, and I haven't told this story, but the rage that came out of me was, I saw nothing in front of me but red.
Mm.
And back in the day, we used to have those very, very thick broomsticks that the stick was almost as big as a bat. They used to use the sticks to hit those little sponge balls. They would cut in half the tennis balls, and that's what they used that stick for. And he came at me, and all I could see was red in front of me. And I drew back, and I split him down the side of his face.
Wow.
He still wears that mark today. And then I knew it was definitely time for me to make a change in my life. So I left. I first went to get me a job, which was, I was the first female gas attendant in 1977 at Alert Oil, which was managed by Mr. Ray Manning, who has been my friend for since that time. So now we don't even call each other friends. We haven't called each other friends for over 30 years because now we're brother and sister.
Okay.
So I would pump gas, and I would have the longest lines because people would get in my line because it was awesome to see a woman pumping gas, checking the oil, checking the transmission fluid, filling up the radiator with antifreeze. So the guys would literally have to leave their base and come and help me because my line was the longest and they did not have any customers.
Wow.
So I made more in tips than I did in pay, which was only $3.10 an hour. But I loved my job, and that made me realize I was a good person. I was a people person. And so I went back to high school at night, worked during the day. And my mom said, you know what, you're going to have to make sure your kids are taken care of because I have to work, and you know, you're doing a lot of things. So I hired somebody to take care of my kids. And then after I finished, I went to night school for high school. And then before I graduated, I went and enrolled for business school, where my first degree was in business. So each year I continued to improve myself, but my daughter was mentally handicapped, so I could not work in a normal 9 to 5 because he had a lot of doctor's appointments and things like that. So I went into retail working as a cashier.
Okay.
And my career progressed, and I became a shop steward, and I became a front end manager and went full time. And I stayed there for 20 years. They also had an education program, so I took up information technology specialist. And in 2000, after I graduated, I actually graduated with my younger son, who was graduating out of high school at the time.
Wow,
so
it's never too late.
We both ended up graduating together. And our theme song has always been "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." Because I was with McFadden and Whitehead, and they gave me the name Baby Girl because my voice sounded like a baby, except when I sang. So it stuck with me all these years, and that was in 1999 that I was with them until they passed away in 2005 and 2006.
I used to like McFadden and Whitehead.
You used to, you still like them, girl.
Well, yeah, I just haven't heard them in a while, but I'm just saying they was one of my, back in the day, one of my regular. Not that I don't like them, it's just been a minute since I've listened to them.
But you know, people don't know all the things that they did. They wrote for the OJs. They wrote for Hal Melvin's Blue Notes. They wrote for Michael Jackson. They wrote for Gladys Knight. They wrote for Patti LaBelle. So they had a lot of people that they worked for that people didn't even know about.
Yeah.
And they were a big major part in me continuing my music. Because of them, I developed skills in music and learned how to manage a band, learned how to create writers, learned how to know what to ask for. And that became a blessing for me. So about, I want to say 5 years ago, I decided, almost 5 years ago, I decided that I wanted to do something different because I kept asking the Lord, Lord, what is it that you want me to do? Because I'm looking young, I'm youthful. I know that there's something that you want me to do other than what I'm doing. There's has to be some reason why you're keeping me looking this young. And he said, I want you to tell your story. There are people out there that you need to help. And I want you to tell your story. So I had always wanted to be in a pageant. So I entered into Miss Senior USA 2019 pageant. And lo and behold, I just entered into it, you know, just to have a good time and do something different. And I ended up winning best in evening gown, best in retro wear, and I ended up being first runner up. And I was like, every time they called my name, I like sank deeper in my chair. I'm like, who, me?
Ah, wow.
Me? And then you could hear my son saying, that's right, woman, get up there, you're doing it. That's right, I'm proud of you. I love you.
Wow.
So I started acting with Rick Watson. I was in like 15 of his plays. I had some leading roles. So the Lord was showing me that age was only a number. That anything you set your mind to do, you can do it.
That's right.
So I was thankful for him giving me that opportunity. So that ended up opening the door for me to get into other pageants and achieve other titles and everything. And so that's where we are now. You know, wow. I'm getting ready to enter into the Miss Classic Universe pageant under Pageant Universe, Miss and Mrs. Classic Pageant Universe. And it's an honor to participate in this organization and be able to tell my story and share my story with others. Because there's somebody out there who really needs to know that you don't have to stay in domestic violence.
That's right.
You can get out of it.
That's
it's
right.
going to be, it's not easy. It's not really, it's not easy. And you may say, oh, they provide me with food. They take care of me. They pay all my bills. I don't know how to work. I never had a job. But let me tell you something, that you'll never know what you can do unless you get out there and try.
That's right.
And that's sometimes right. we stay in a situation because we have children, or they say, well, you can't take the children. Okay, so that's the time you have to say, my children and my life is valuable. And there's ways to get out of it. I have a video on YouTube called What? Pizza Against Domestic Violence by Renee Reynolds. That video tells you what to do if you're in a domestic violence situation and your life is threatened. You dial 911 and the police officer will answer and you say, I would like to order a pizza, please. And of course, they'll say to you, well, you know this is the police department. Yes, I know this is the police department, but I'd like to order a pizza, please. So you talk to him, and then it'll click. Uh-oh, I need to listen. And then they'll start asking you questions where you'll answer yes or no. And then when they say, well, when they say, well, what's your address? And you would say, well, where I need you to deliver my pizza to, and you give them your address, and they will ask you, are there weapons there? Is it safe for you there? And you'll answer yes or no to their questions. You don't go into anything. I guarantee you they'll send somebody to you.
Wow.
Now, once you get out of the relationship, and I know, ladies, it's difficult because we love unconditionally.
Yes.
We love with this heart, and we tend to believe that we can't make it without that person.
That's right. Yes.
You can. You can. I'm a living witness. You are looking at a victor over domestic violence. I'm not just a survivor anymore. I'm a victor. and I'm happy and I'm enjoying life and I'm doing the things that brings joy to myself. And when I look on the faces of my kids and my grandkids, I can say, oh my goodness, I'm doing something that's empowering.
Yes.
It's no one else but them.
Yes, yes. You know, I want to interject here, if I may, and I want to go back. You know, first of all, thank you so much for sharing and for your transparency, and I'm sure that whether it's someone that's watching now or someone that will watch the replay that can relate to your story. I too was in domestic violence. Mine wasn't to the extent where I was physically hurt. But I'm telling you that mental abuse, it's rough. So I'm not trying to diminish anyone's situation. I'm just saying how mine was. And so, Renee, you know, many times I know based on my experience as well as experience of others, many times as women, we do have a challenge with walking away. You know, for multiple reasons, you know, we become accustomed to that person being a provider or just being in our space, you know, sharing that space. We try to figure out where can we go from here? How do I start my life over and all? Now, there are, and I did this myself, there were times where I left, but I went back because as you say, you love, you know, when you genuinely love and your heart is in it, you know, you feel like, oh, you feel this enormous amount of pain, enormous amount of pain because you're separated from this individual who has been abusive, who has not been productive in your life, who has not been who they should have been as a partner. But we tend to linger on. What would you say to an individual tonight who's struggling in that area? It's like they know their life is better without that person, or they're in a better place, but still there's a part of them that wants to rekindle with that individual because they were part of their lives for so long.
Exactly. So I was in the same situation. I kept going back, and he would be okay for a couple of months. The last time he was okay for a whole year.
Wow.
And I finally thought we were over that threshold. But for someone who's going through it right now, you have to think to yourself, what is more important to you, or who is more important to you? Because you must love yourself.
Right.
You must value who you are. Because we are created in God's image. Yes, we all may look different, but we are created in his image. Can you look at yourself and say, oh my God, this is God. I'm damaging God. I'm allowing God to be damaged. What can I do to stop this from happening? Do I want to hurt him anymore? Because believe me, he hurts when we go through pain. He hurts when we go through agony. He gives us free will, right? And free will means that we make our own decisions, whether they're right or whether they're wrong.
That's right.
But once we start feeling good about who we are and knowing who we belong to, because we belong to him.
That's
and
right.
Scripture tells us he wants good for us. He does not want bad for us. So we have to take a look at ourselves and say, is this really right for me? Is this really right for my children? What's going to happen to my children if I die? Because 9 times out of 10, that next hit might take you out of here.
And you never know when. That's right. You're right.
You don't know. So it's up to us to analyze our inner self and start building up our inner self and start building up. We do that by the word. We do that by counseling. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay not to be okay.
That's right.
So we can't always talk to our mother or our sister or our brother, right?
Mm-hmm,
We can't talk to them because they don't sometimes understand what we're going through.
right.
So then we have to seek outside help. And in seeking that outside help, we have to learn to be honest. So we open up, we tell our story. They don't cast judgment on us.
Mm-hmm,
They help us out of the situations.
mm-hmm.
They help us to build us up again. They give us they don't tell us what to do because once again, it's free will.
Free will, right.
I can't tell Mom Karen, okay, it's time for you to leave. Mom
Mm-hmm.
Karen has to decide for herself that
Right,
enough is enough.
right.
And when Mom Karen gets sick and tired of being sick
Sick
and
and tired.
tired,
Yes, Lord.
then Mom Karen will get up and say, that's it.
Mm-hmm,
Now, it's not going to be an easy transition.
mm-hmm,
Sometimes you might have to wait for that person to leave.
mm-hmm.
I tell this story all the time about Whitney Houston. She got her and Bobby, the little baby, and it was asked, where are you going? I'm going to the store. She walked out the front door to go to the store and never came back.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we have to take that step, and we have to, because the Lord says he's going to help us, but we have to take that first step,
Mm-hmm.
right? Faith without works is dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to have the faith of a mustard seed that when I step out that front door, that he's going to put things in place that's going to make it okay for me to start my new life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened to me.
Wow. Wow. And again, the circumstances were different, but the same thing with me. And
Yes.
I had children as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even then, since then, because I suffered with low self-esteem for so long, I was somewhat clingy. You know, I loved hard and I became attached really quickly. And also, you know, you mentioned about seeking counseling and you know, sometimes it requires therapy. Depending on the level of trauma and damage, you know, it goes beyond counseling. Sometimes we need to see a therapist. And as Renee said, it's okay not to be okay. Be true to yourself. Admit to yourself, this wasn't good for me. But in doing so, do not beat up on yourself. Because that's something else that will hold you back from moving forward, because you find yourself in a place where you can't even shift, because your mental state will continue to say, you know, well, you shouldn't have did this, and why you do this, and why? No, it's over. It happened. Let it go. But I always say to my clients is that, you know, you have to develop a plan and you have to stick to it. You set your goals, you develop a plan, and take it one step at a time. Many times we try to look at the whole big picture where I want to leave and I want to do this and I want to do that, which is okay. But set realistic, measurable goals. Allow yourself to heal. It's a process. Many times we want to leave a circumstance or leave a relationship or marriage, whatever the case may be, and we want to automatically be at over it. It is just not like that. And that's reality. Now, yes, you can get through it and you will overcome, but it is a process. And I think that, like, us sharing our stories and that transparency will, and my prayer is that it will encourage someone to know I can do this, but there will be moments that I may hurt. There will be moments that I'm going to cry. There are going to be moments where I even miss the toxic and the drama, because sometimes we're in it so long till toxicity becomes normal for us. We get used to the drama. We get used to the dysfunction. But as Renee said, there is a better place for you. Now, also, I would like to add to what Renee said. When you find someone to share with, find someone that is genuinely interested in you, your growth, your recovery, your healing, and your development. Do not connect with someone that has a hidden agenda. Many times we need circumstances and we might try to be close to someone that has a romantic interest in us. No, you need to heal. You need to process, because if not, we find ourselves in the same cycle. We continue to repeat that cycle. So I remember back in the day, we used to call that, oh, I'm just with somebody on the rebound. You know, but time, love yourself enough to heal and to recover. You know, and don't be upset with yourself because you look back. There's always going to be something to remind you of that individual. It could be years later. It could be a song that plays. It could be something that comes on TV, a certain food that you all ate together, a certain event or certain time of the year. But there is life after abuse. There is life after violence. There is life after poor choices. You made a decision. It's done. The best thing you can do for yourself is to take your life back. This is your life. We only get one. And I'm telling you, once I did that, and not just in my marriage, but even in other connections, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of people always wanting me for certain things. Like I shared before, many people just wanted me a lot of times. I grew up in the business at a very young age. They wanted me to help them build their business. I, like you, I have a business degree. I have an MBA. You know what I'm saying? I have my own business. So it's like, can you help me do this? Can you show me how to do this? Can you show me can you cook? Can you do this? And I did that for so long because I didn't understand my own worth, my own value. But time to get to know yourself. You are valuable. You have something to offer to the world, to yourself. Love yourself enough to walk away, stay away, especially if it's a harmful situation.
Yes, yes. But one thing that I want to reiterate on that you made a good point of, because of who we are as women, we tend to not go and heal completely. So we go and jump right into the next relationship. And like you say, Mom Karen, you take baggage with you because you have not resolved that pain and that hurt. So when you hurt, there becomes trust, no trust. There becomes judgmental. You become judgmental. You look for things to be wrong, and sometimes there are no things that this person is going to do that remind you of the other person. And you tend to say stuff like, well, what did you mean by that? With an attitude, instead of, well, honey, can you explain to me what did you mean by that statement? You know, we have so much hurt that's built up into us. Like we said, we didn't go get help where we talk these issues out because in abuse, like Mom Karen said, her abuse was mental. But there's many forms of abuse.
That's right.
There's physical, there's emotional, there's mental, there's financial. So we have to analyze each situation differently. And we have to determine for ourselves, what is it that Renee wants out of her life?
That's right.
What is it that Karen wants out of her life? What is it that Sharon wants out of her life? And you have to sit back and look at and say, well, I want a happy life. I want to make sure my kids will be well taken care of. I want someone who is going to love me completely for the person that I am and not use and abuse me. And if I cannot find that person, I am okay with that. I am okay with being by myself until the Lord presents that person to me.
That's right.
Because now when I talk to the Lord, I talk to him like this. Lord, if you sending somebody my way, you better be sitting next to me on the couch and tell me that this man is for me.
I know that's right.
he can't come with no foolishness.
That's right. That's
He
right.
can't come and say, "Oh, girl, you really know how to run your businesses, and I want you."
Mm-hmm.
The Lord says, "I am supposed to be a helpmate to somebody." But
That's
that
right.
person that I'm a helpmate to has to know how to step out and start doing what he needs to do for
Mm-hmm.
himself. And then
Before.
I come behind him and I support him and help him grow.
That's right. That's right. I had to learn that the hard way too, because I wanted to be loved. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand love. I thought the different touches and the googly eyes and all of that stuff. I felt
Mm-hmm.
love because I had been rejected so much. You know,
Right.
my dad was very active in my life. My dad was an excellent provider, but he was not in the home. You know, so
Right.
I think there was a lot of things that I missed because as a young girl, I had that desire to have that closeness with my dad. And again, my dad was an awesome dad. I love my daddy. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we all had challenges. I know he grew up and his family, they weren't very expressive. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? He had to start working at the second grade. So as a
Mm-hmm.
result, a lot of times we are damaged by that. And
Yes.
as you stated, and we stated earlier, that's why it's important to talk to someone and find someone that's not going to judge you. I
Yes.
remember I would go to people and I would say, "Oh, well, you know, I miss them, and why they not calling me? Here I'm missing them, and it's weeks and so later, and you don't hear nothing from them. It's like, did they ever care?" And I've had people to say, "You so stupid," and get on with your life. Well, first of all, you already feel bad because you know you didn't make a healthy decision.
Yes.
You already feel bad because you stayed in it so long.
Yes.
Sometimes I even felt bad because I knew I shouldn't have been with that person in the first place, but I settled because
Yes.
I'm like, okay,
Yes.
well, at least I'm not by myself. You know, at
Yes.
least this, at least that. But don't please, I beg you, do not connect with anyone that is going to judge you. Find you
Yes.
someone, you need a circle, you need a support system, someone that is going to support you, someone that's not going to judge you, even if you go back. It may not
Yes.
be the best interest, but someone that's going to love you through the process, because it is a process. It is a process, and it's okay. As Renee said, to be alone. Oh my goodness, I struggled with that for years. That's why I settled so much, Renee, and to the audience, because I did not want to be alone. But take the time. I encourage you, the time that you're alone, start to love yourself, start to build your own life, start to enhance your skills. And I'm telling you, it is a beautiful place to be where you see yourself growing, you see yourself making accomplishments, you see goals that you're setting. I can be proud of myself. And I'm not saying that to be boastful, but like you, Miss Renee, you wearing that Satchel Miss Universe Pennsylvania Classic Miss 2021 is beautiful. It's beautiful. So we all have different goals, but we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. There is a purpose and a plan for every one of our lives. And when we settle and we stay in these dysfunctional relationships, we allow that individual to rob us of our destiny. And no one is worth that. No one at all.
Yes, I in past relationships, I had gotten to the point, like my oldest son made this statement to me he said about 10 years ago, he said that relationship was like a cancer that was growing inside of you, taking the life out of you that you had. Now, this is my son, my oldest son, saying this to me. And I'm telling you, you got to be careful what you teach your kids.
That's right, because they're watching.
Because they will come back and quote that stuff to you.
Yes.
Or say them, girl, and say to you, don't you remember you telling me blah, 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 blah. And I had to look at what he said. And when he said it, I sat back and I said, you know what, son? You absolutely right. Why did I give my life away to someone who could not appreciate
There you go.
what they had.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm telling you, the last 10 years of my life have been, I mean, I can't express the joy that has been in my life. And every time a little child will come up and say, Miss Renee, I saw you on Facebook and I thank you so much. Your words have empowered me and you've made me a stronger person. And I'm like looking at myself and I'm saying, girl. And that's the Lord, and the Lord is bringing these people to you, telling you this, that, and the other. For a man to tell me that I am an inspiration to them,
wow, what a blessing.
My goodness, that is a blessing from
Yes,
God.
it is.
I tell them all the time, I said, to God be the glory. I'm just his vessel. He's used me to deliver a word. I'm glad you had an open mind and an open heart to hear what I had to say. Say it again. Say it again.
Yes.
And sometimes I get so excited. I get so overwhelmed that, my eyes well up with tears. And I'm like saying, thank you, Lord. Thank you, because I asked you what you wanted me to do. And now you're showing me that what you wanted me to do is helping somebody.
That's right. That's right.
It's helping somebody. So if you're out there and you are in trouble and you need help, there are resources for you. If you're in immediate detrimental health, and I'm not talking about, he said I was ugly. No, please don't call the police for that. Please don't call the police for that. But if he puts his hands on you, if he's threatening your life, he's threatening the life of your children, if he says he's going to kill himself if you leave him, please call 911. Get out of that situation. The domestic hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE. The domestic hotline, 1-800-799-SAFE. There are resources like Women Against Abuse. There are different organizations, and when we get off this live, we'll put all that information in the Facebook and the YouTube, so that you can reach out. You can also reach out to us. You can do it through the message. We will keep you completely anonymous. You can DM us. You can do our emails. Like my email, you can reach out to babygirl, BABEGIRL designs@gmail.com. If you know of somebody who you suspect is going through something, please don't let it go and something happens to that person and you say, oh, I should have spoke up, because then the guilt's going to come on you. Speak up. The time for being silent is over. Our senior citizens, I'm with WAHT, which is Women Against Human Trafficking. Our senior citizens are being abused sexually, financially, and physically. They are being targeted. People are watching our senior citizens, see who comes and goes in their homes. Please, please, please. 73% of human and sex trafficking is against women. 43% are against children. And 16% is against men. Don't be silent anymore. If you don't want to physically do something, call 911. That's the simplest way to save somebody's life. If you think a child is being abused and you hear a child screaming 12 hours straight, come on now. A child crying 12 hours straight, there's something wrong there.
That's right. That's right.
It's time for us as a society to go back to the way we used to be, when neighbors used to care about the neighborhood and the children. It's time for us as senior citizens, and in Philadelphia, our senior citizens are stepping up. They are tired of sitting in their house being afraid to come outside and open their front door.
Sad, yeah, sad. Really sad.
We need to go back to the way it used to be, when Miss Karen could see my child doing something and come to me, and
That's
I
right.
did not accuse Miss Karen of lying.
Exactly. Or we could even say something to the child. Now you have parents that said, don't say anything to my child or whatever. So you're right. Times are definitely different. They're
Yes.
definitely
Yes.
different. You know,
Mhm.
Renee, I wanted to ask you again, thank you so much for sharing. I want to thank everyone who has taken the time to join us on this evening. Normally, I give personal shout outs and call out names that I see that
Yes.
are on the broadcast, but because we're cutting this broadcast short, we'll be ending right around 7 o'clock. We don't have very much time. I just think it's important that I allow Renee to continue to share. But shout out to everyone, to Renee's
Yes.
followers, to everyone
Yes.
on YouTube, everyone on Facebook. Know that I love you all. I appreciate you all. I appreciate your continued support. But Renee, what about the individual that may feel that they're at fault? You know, even when if a person leaves a relationship, or whether they leave or for whatever reason they're no longer together, and the partner seems to shift the blame on them, or they seem to convey that they're not okay because the individual has decided not to come back or return to the relationship. What would you share with that individual to encourage them, to let them know it's not your fault, or, you know, just to move on or not fall into that trap, to be entangled in that drama again?
Yeah. So when it comes to domestic abuse, there is an underlying issue there with the person who's the abuser.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the same thing as saying, well, it's my fault. I came with him, no matter what the circumstances was, why I ended up with this man. I would blame myself. I think had something happened to my children, I truly would have lost it,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is not your fault. The same thing I tell children when they say, well, my mom and dad got a divorce because of me. No, your mom and dad did not get a divorce because of you. Your mom and dad got a divorce because the two of them could not get along together.
Mm-hmm.
You got into a relationship. Let's just use for an example, there was incest in the home, in your home going on, and you left to avoid that kind of behavior and ended up in a relationship with a person who turned around and physically abused you. You left home to protect yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't leave your home to get into a relationship where somebody was going to hurt you. Once you got into that relationship, you felt as though you had no place else to go. So you stayed there. We only can be accountable for our actions. I can't be accountable for the abuser's action, but I can be accountable for how long I stay with that abuser.
Yes.
Whether or not it is, let's just say this. For me, I felt as though the guilt fell on me because of the length of time that I stayed there,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew better.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that that's not where I was supposed to be at.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it was only 5 years, I stayed there 1 minute too long.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time he hit me, I should have turned and walked away.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up in an abusive relationship. My father died when I was 9. My father never yelled. My father never beat us. But I did not know how a man was supposed to treat a woman,
Right.
because my
Right.
father wasn't there.
Right.
So what happened, I saw behavior of other men, of television shows, and I said, oh, okay, this is normal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It took until the Lord spoke to me that I realized it wasn't normal. And that's because I had a faith walk with God. There are people out here who do not have that walk with God.
That's right.
Their inner conscience, whereas the Lord will talk to me and you, Mom Karen, and say to us, you better look at that again before you do X, Y, Z. Our conscience tells us that. But when we're in a need, when we need to be loved, when we need to be held, when we need that companionship, we forget about that little bird or that angel sitting on our shoulder telling us, no, don't go there. Every person has to make the choice for themselves. And for me, it was a rude awakening to realize I was killing myself. Because I literally was killing myself.
Right.
And had I stayed there, I would have died. So my comment to those out there who are going through it: when do you become important to you?
Yes.
And I'm looking at you out there. I can't see you, but I know you can see me. When do you become important to you?
That's right.
And if you have children, when do your children become important? Because children do not ask to come here.
Right.
We bring them here.
That's right.
And God gave us the responsibility of making sure that their childhood is a safe childhood, is a loved childhood. So it is up to us to realize what is important. And what's important above anything and all else, God first, but you second. And if you have children, God first and your children second. You third. You third. Because I never used drugs. I never drank. I didn't prostitute myself. I can honestly say these things because in my mind, oh, my kids didn't ask to come here. I brought my kids here. It's my responsibility to take care of them.
Wow. Wow, that's good. Thank you so much, Renee. I certainly appreciate. Look, we definitely needed those 2 hours.
Anytime. When I come back from the pageant, we can schedule another session.
Okay.
And we can go into more depth into it because this is a subject that's constantly going to continue.
It's ongoing. That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
It's not going to stop. And hopefully, when I come back, I'll be able to start Gwenny's Place, and Gwenny's Place is going to be a safe haven for women and children of domestic abuse, whichever kind of abuse that it is. And we want you women to realize it doesn't matter whether you're black, you're white, you're rich, you're poor.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. You are valuable.
That's right.
Tell yourself every morning. My little 12-year-old son at the time would say to me when I was going through my depression and crying and saying I was ugly and I wasn't valuable. And he would say to me, "Ma, come in this bathroom." And tears rolling down my face, and I'm looking in the mirror, and he says, "Mom, look at you. You look like me. If you ugly, I'm ugly too."
Oh, wow.
He said, every morning, you need to stand up in this mirror, and you need to say, "I'm beautiful, I'm valuable, I'm loved."
Wow.
And I got into the habit of doing that every single morning until I started believing it. And when I started believing, girl, let me tell you, I get up, I look like a hot mess in the morning sometimes, as y'all can see. Y'all know I'm real. I don't have no makeup on, don't have no lashes on, none of that stuff. But I get up every morning and I say, "Thank you, God, for birthing me again today." And I look at myself in the mirror and I go, "Girl, you all that in a bag of chips." And I believe that about myself. So I'm telling you, anybody who's out there and you're feeling low and you don't feel as though you can carry on, look yourself in the mirror and say, "God's got something special for me today."
Right. That's right.
What is it going to be? It could be a new job. It could be a new friend. And when I say friend, I'm not talking about a partner, intimate
Right.
partner. I'm talking about a new friend that
Mm-hmm.
truly believes in who you are and what you're doing, and is going to be there to say to you, we're going to get through this together.
That's right. That's right. And that peace that God gives you, it, oh man, it's, that's a whole nother broadcast. But there's
Yes,
so
girl.
much that comes along with walking away from the abuse, starting a new life over. You know, many times we look at new and we fear the unknown. We talked about
Yes.
faith. This is a faith walk, you know, so that's why it's
Yes.
important to trust God, because we fear the unknown. But when we know that God's got us and we know that we're taking steps to overcome
Mhm.
our past decisions, that abuse, there is recovery. Just like there's
Yes.
recovery for alcoholism and substance abuse, and for felons, there's also recovery for those who have been in domestic abuse. And
Yes.
life after our bad decisions and our mistakes and our failures is awesome if we put it in
Yes.
the hands of God. It's just,
Yes.
it's amazing how God can take someone that's been wounded, someone that's broken, someone that's, your life is shattered and you have no clue where you're going from here, what's going to happen. And he takes your life and makes something beautiful out of your life. I am a witness. Renee is a witness. Many of
And
my guests are witnesses.
he'll put people into your life that will make you take notice. We used to say growing up, out of the mouths of babes, right?
Yes.
Meaning out of the mouths of the children. And
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, I've had stuff thrown back to me by my oldest son and
Mm-hmm.
my youngest son.
Wow.
So, you know, when you sit back and look and you think, wow, they were listening to me when I was
Yes.
talking to them. And now they're coming back at me and they're telling me the things that I used to tell them, to
Mm-hmm.
encourage them, to empower them, to build them up. And some people used to say to me, well, and this is in the last 2 years, well, don't you think you need to stop talking about your domestic abuse relationship? Don't you think it bothers your children? And I said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll ask my children how they feel about it. And my children tell them, if it helps save someone else from going through what we went through,
Let her
my
tell it.
mother can talk about it until she can't talk about it no more.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Because the
good.
bottom line of it is that when somebody hears my story that may be going through what I'm going through, will
Mm-hmm.
sit back and say, well, dang, if she got out of it,
I can get
I
out of
can
it.
get out of it too.
That's
If
right.
she went back to school, I can go back to school too. If
Mm-hmm.
she is now going to be called Dr. Renee Reynolds Lawson,
Yes,
September
yes.
26, 2021, then I can be called Dr. Kimberly Brown.
That's right. That's right.
I
Wow.
believe that God will not put more on me than at that time I didn't believe it.
Right, right.
I had to go back to church. I had to go back to a strong Bible preaching church. I had to go back to a pastor that fed into me, that encouraged me, that built me up. God put evangelists in my life. God put ministers in my life. Minister Foxworth, evangelist Idona Friedman, Pastor Spalding, Bishop Dickie Robbins, Pastor Tina Robbins. These people put into me what was missing inside of
Mm-hmm.
me to build
Mm-hmm.
me. And then I
Mm-hmm.
had my two boys constantly ride in the background. Mom, you can do anything. Go ahead, Mom. Get up there and sing. Mom,
That's a
go ahead.
blessing.
I mean,
That's a blessing. That's a
the thing,
blessing.
look, I come down to Power 4.4 and what happens? I get a radio show. Thanks
Mm-hmm.
to
Yep.
Angela Renee and evangelist Tony Terry and Jay McGraw and Mom Karen.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can do it, anybody out there can accomplish the same or higher goals than I have.
That's
And I
right.
thank God for what he's doing in my life today. I thank God for his love and mercy and deciding, Renee, there's some other things you need to do. So come on, let's get this job done.
Uh-huh.
I thank you each and every morning when I get up and each night when I lay down.
That's
I'm
right.
truly blessed.
That's
And
right.
when I come back next in 2 weeks, you guys, I am going to have another crown. This is the crown I have right now.
Oh,
Thank you,
wow.
Jesus.
That is
Thank you,
gorgeous.
pageant universe. But when I come back, I'm gonna have another crown.
That's right. Claim it. Go ahead and claim it. That's
You
claim
don't
it.
know,
How can
girl.
we support you? Is there, and also I want you to give your contact information because I know you have another commitment and it's now a little after 7. So I don't want you to be late. And I want to thank you because you came straight from work. So I honor that and I want you to come back. So if you could tell us how we can reach you and how we can support you.
Thank you so much. So if you go to Facebook, I'm on Facebook as Renee Reynolds Lawson. I'm also on Facebook as Ms. MS Classic Pennsylvania Universe 2021. I am on Twitter as Ms. Pennsylvania Classic Universe. I am on IG, what is that? Instagram as Ms. PA Classic Universe. So you can find me in all these platforms. And if you want to make a donation to me for upcoming expenses that incur while competing, you can do my Cash App, which is Renee Reynolds Lawson, or just email me at babygirl, BABEGIRL designs@gmail.com, and I can tell you how you can help me that way as well. But I want the most important thing that I want you all to realize and understand is that the best way to help me, anyone who's in a domestic violence situation, is to please get out of it. Statistics since COVID has happened is that over 300% of domestic violence has increased over 300% that we know of. Most cases have gone unreported. So the percentage is probably higher than that. But please, if nothing else that I tell you takes root in your spirit or in your soul, is that you are valuable.
Yes.
You are loved. I love you. I
love you.
Yes. And we don't want to read any more statistics. We don't want to hear on the news that somebody else was murdered or beaten into a coma or unconsciousness. We want you to realize that you are valuable. You are worth living. Love yourself more than you love anyone else. Love yourself.
That's right.
And you can get out of domestic violence.
Wow. Thank you so much, Renee. I certainly appreciate you. I want to thank everyone again who has taken the time to join us on this evening. Thank you to all the replay watchers as well on YouTube as well as Facebook. Please know the video is on my page. It is also on there. It's Still Hope for You Facebook page. I believe Renee has shared it to her page, but please reach out to us. Like Renee said, if you need someone to talk to, I am a mentor. I am a certified master life coach. Actually, you can even send a message at my website, which is www.KarenMAustin. I am KarenMAustin.com. I am the founder and CEO of Empowerment, Reset, and Transformation Academy. That's an academy, a coaching academy for spiritual, personal, and professional growth and development. I can't even talk. It's an academy where you are empowered to shift and evolve. I'm an activation coach. And I have the ability and the skills and the knowledge to do that because I was stuck for so long. I wasn't able to walk away. I didn't love myself. I didn't know how to appreciate and value myself and my time. But God has delivered me from that, and is my desire, my purpose is to help others walk in freedom as well. Renee, thank you. Mom, Renee, I love you so much. I appreciate you. As soon as the pageant is over, we'll reschedule something. And so we can reschedule for you to come back for part 2. Everyone, thank you again for joining us on this evening. Thank you for sharing. God bless you. And remember, no matter where you are in life, there is still hope for you. God bless you all. And thank you for tuning in. Good night.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you, my friends, for joining us today. Dr. Roxanne, I see you. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Please, please, love you. See you soon. God bless you.
All right. Bye-bye. Good night, everyone.